So we started this evening by talking about the why of content curation. We moved on to talk about the what of content curation. So now we're going to talk about some of the how of content curation. There are some wonderful design tools to support learning design online. Tonight we only have time to look at a smaller selection, but all of these tools are linked on the cheat sheet that you'll receive with that email distribution. So you'll receive that after the session and you can head in and start experimenting. Our first two tools, Pexels and Unsplash, are platforms to find excellent visual elements to include in your design. The content of both platforms is royalty-free, which is of value in a couple ways. It allows us to model good copyright practices for students, but also it ensures we are able to share our design beyond the classroom without concern for infringing upon the rights of the creator. You can share your curated content with your professional network, for example, or perhaps the school community through the newsletter. Using image collections like Pexels and Unsplash also ensure the quality of an image. Blurry or out of focus images will distract and detract from your design. You're easily able to download and utilize images from these platforms. So let's have a quick look at both tools. So you should be able to see Unsplash in front of me now. I'm just going to conduct a search for World War I images. And they do start by promoting paid content to the top of your results, but if you scroll just a little further down, you'll see the free options. If I click on an image, I get to see its original source, so I could visit the British Library for this one. If I hover over the logo, it will actually lead me towards more images within the Unsplash collection that are presented from the British Library. But I can easily just use this download button to save a copy of this onto my computer and then include it in my design. So Unsplash brings together resources from a range of sources that may have like particular educational value, like, for example, connecting you to digital collections from museums. Whereas the second image platform that we're going to have a look at, Pexels, focuses on sharing photography and videos more directly from the creators. So when I pop into this tool, I'm just going to do the same search because that'll give you an idea of the different type of content. So you can see it's sort of more, modern photography. You can easily see the difference in the type of results, but they definitely have their different applications for design. But again, it's just as easy to quickly download that image with one click of my button, my mouse. And so I can easily grab these, use them without worrying about any of those potential copyright issues as well. The next tool, Flat Icon, is an amazing resource for web designing as well. It includes royalty-free icons, but what makes it so useful is the quality and variety in the collections of icons. They're free to use with attribution. Of course, there's a paid subscription that allows access to some additional features such as a range of file formats, but the free content is more than enough to suit most library needs. So let's have a quick look. I'm going to log in. What that allows me to do is keep a collection. I think it allows you up to 3 with the free account. A collection of icons as I find them. So that's what you can see on the far right there. And also, but it isn't necessary to have an account. You can actually just download them from a search without logging in. So I'm going to search for an icon for our reading page. If I was currently working on a design, I can actually just hover over an image and use this copy PNG to clipboard button. And essentially I could go and paste it into my design immediately. I can also easily just download a copy for use later on, and that might be helpful just in case you accidentally were to delete the icon and you really didn't want to have to come back to the flat icon and search again, that you would be able to keep a copy of all the important icons that you've been using. If I actually click into that item, now that I'm logged in, and even with the free account, this is not a feature for the pay, it's available to free accounts as well, I can actually edit the icon. And what that allows me to do is change the colours. So I might want to change the book colour, so I might want it to be green. So I can easily do that. And then I can choose to download from this screen and choose from a selection of PNG file sizes. So depending on my purpose, I might want a larger file, so the bigger the pixels, the larger the file, or maybe if it's for a small icon, I could use the small file size. The other forms of files, they're not available if you have a free account. In addition to that, I can actually scroll down further here and I can see related icons. So there's icons that are from the same search term, but also I'm able to see the collection that this particular icon comes from. I can look at this selection that they're presenting to me, and I could also click here and see more. And so you're able to potentially have some consistency in the presentation of your icons by using a collection, but also it's a quick way to find related icons to our purpose, which is education and learning. So you can see that particular selection of icons might be particularly useful in an educational setting. The next tool is one that is about a fast way to create custom visual elements for your design. Now, a lot of you are probably quite familiar with Canva. It's free for educational use, and they actually allow schools to access the full range of tools, even those that are part of the paid subscription for free. So that's part of their motto, that they want to do that for education. And this is the tool I used to create those banners for the World War I example portal. I did want to demonstrate just a couple features that you may or may not have discovered yourself, so to ensure you're getting the best out of this tool. So if I pop in and have a look at this banner that I've created, in the styles area, I can actually have a look at different combinations. And if I were to select one of these, you'll see that it very quickly changes the look of my template that I've used. So it's a way that you can save yourself some time and by potentially, creating the look from some of these pre-existing colour combinations and text combinations. In addition to that, say I'm wanting to create a number of banners for a single portal, it's really easy to just pop into File and select Make a Copy in order to create a variation of this for a different subtopic. So it's really easy tool to use. The other thing I wanted to show you is in the elements section, if I were to search for, say, icons on a particular topic like war, if I find one that I'm interested in, when I click on it, it'll add it to my image and I can work with that later, but it also offers these magic recommendations. And so what it actually would allow you to do is to easily find similar images or perhaps a more specific presentation of a chosen image, but it saves you time if you're recreating these banners for different subtopics. So I really wanted to point those few things out to you. But just in general with Canva, the way that I like to use it the most is in the templates area. It's of particular value for time-poor designers or perhaps those just getting started, which I know that some of you will be in that position. And they have these categories. The education category can be a great place to start. I actually use their infographics a lot. So if I click on the infographic here, you'll see that it comes back to me with a whole bunch of pre-designed. So taking that kind of stress of designing an appealing infographic away from me, I can choose one of these designs just by clicking on it. And then I can very easily select customize this template, and then I have full access to the editor. I can change the images, the text, but I can leave that layout and that design. So it really saves me a whole lot of time. But in particular, I might want consistent presentation of information across my junior school, middle school, senior school. But this way I can change the actual level of content that's in there and potentially the level of scaffolding, but there might be consistent presentation. And so I have two other tools. These actually are a little bit different. They aim to simplify some of those design choices for you. So the first tool is Coolers. The generator, which I can access by just clicking here, will present me with a random selection of colours that are complementary and work together as a colour palette. If I don't like one, I can very easily remove the colour. I can actually pick from a number of shades related to a particular colour that has been chosen. I can also use the spacebar to just give me another random selection of colour palettes. If I'm looking, I can actually match an image that I'm going to be using. So for example here, if I pop into the Create palette from Portal, I can upload an image, but I'm just actually going to paste in quickly an image from online that I'm going to use in my design. And you'll see within seconds then, it pulls out colours from within that image that I could then use for my design. And if I pull this little slider around the bottom, it picks different parts of the image. So if I don't quite like the initial one, I can actually see what other design colour palettes might match that image. And so that can be a really handy feature for you. One tool that might be useful to meet the diverse needs of your students is the colour blindness checker. So when I turn this on, it actually allows me to see how a particular colour palette might view to a particular condition. So they're listed here, and if I change it, you can see it subtly changes the presentation of those colours to, I guess, approximate what a person with a particular colour blindness might be seeing. So that could be really helpful if you know that you've got students with that particular need. So rather than count on your luck with the random colour palette generator, if I pop back to this homepage, I can also have a look at trending colours by clicking on this area here. And so I can actually have a look through these options. If I hover over a colour, it will show me the hex code that identifies that colour. If I click on it, it actually copies it to my clipboard for me. So that can be a really handy way to start to think about colour design and colour choices. And rather than making those choices just, maybe you're using corporate colouring, but maybe for a particular portal, maybe it's for, say, promoting reading, you might want to be more colourful. So you can come in here and use this tool to help you with that. The last tool is called Font Joy. So this one's just a really quick one. Essentially, if you're wondering about what fonts you could use that would be complementary and not really fight with each other for attention, I can click the button Generate here, and it will choose 3 different fonts based on headings, subheadings, and then text. If I like one in particular, I can actually lock it, and if I regenerate, it will change only the ones that are unlocked. So I can start to play around with what fonts work together. That's another really great tool that you could use. Essentially, all of these tools are linked in the cheat sheet we're going to send you, and so you'll be able to have a play with these and see how they can support the really great work that you're trying to do. And just finally, on the last slide in my slide deck, I have included links to some of the documentation I've used, and I've actually included a link to a LibPaths portal that includes a whole lot of professional reading around content curation, not just what you're doing as the librarian, but also how content curation can be used by students to support their learning. So I wanted to just point out some of those resources, but that's in the slide deck that you'll receive as well.